Morning, guys.
Good
Nice
morning.
Saturday afternoon. We got Odie here. We got Fowler with his F3 Warriors, which I'm excited about, and that's just a personal note. But we have Nick here, and Nick, I'm just gonna basically what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna let Nick present. He's gonna talk about all his issues. We're gonna come off the screen. I'm gonna start any kind of questions in the background and everything. We're just gonna give all the time to Nick to talk to everybody and to you know whatever. It's Nick's show. We're just here to help. So, Nick, do you have any presentation or anything like that you want me to
Yeah,
present
that's
while
fair.
you're?
I just want to share. So give me a second. Sorry. Let's see here.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. I saw that you were banned or timeout in the Discord, and then I noticed that you had created a Discord, and I think that was a good move. Silence in your position is not the best way to go, but okay, here you go. So you got this is what you want to show. All
Yep.
right. So what I'm going to do is I'll just pull us off here and I'll mute us. We'll be in the background and we'll be ready whenever you are. Odie does have to leave in 45 minutes. So if it lasts that long, then Odie won't be with us, but other people's may join us and I'll make sure that they stay back here and leave you alone. Okay.
Great. Thanks. Right. Good morning, all listening here and who'll watch this recording later. I'm very excited to present to you the enhancement of the strategic plan I presented a few weeks ago and you voted on. The last probably 48 hours have been very sort of chaotic, and there's people leveling all kinds of false accusations about me, etc. But I'm still here. I'm still facing the camera. I'm still facing your questions because facts and truth are on my side, and those are indisputable. So over time, you will see that the truth prevails. Right now, what I want to do is focus on the future. As a community right now, the people that have essentially wrought so much havoc are not thinking about your needs. I am thinking about your needs. I'm thinking about the fact that you put your hard-earned money into something and you expect to see a return from it. I can't guarantee a return, but I can sure as hell make sure that we are moving forward and going towards that as a goal. So what I want to present to you today is how we will evolve the current blockchain into a new one with the strategic plan I had outlined. So let's get right to it. So my agenda for today is to talk to you about how we launch the blockchain under a new name with the changes agreed upon in the strategic plan. I will also tell you about my plan to raise working capital in order to essentially bootstrap this blockchain. I'll tell you a little bit about the team. I want to talk about what the resolution will be for folks who sacrificed funds for the last protocol. Talk about a resolution for validators, full nodes, and backers, light nodes. Those were two pending items. I'm happy to address them today. And there's been an ongoing issue around the question of booster volume, and is it fair that people with large wallets can essentially buy their way into vesting and liquidity early. So I'm going to address that. I'm going to also present a timeline for you. But first things first. One of the most important things that I am asked repeatedly is a question about where's the DEX, etc. So whenever I hear that question, I know immediately that that person has no knowledge of the proposal that we submitted initially when the project was accepted. So saying the word DEX means a lot of different things, and I want to clarify that. So to use an analogy, if you're an architect and you're told to build a house, the first question you're going to ask is what type of house, right? How many rooms, what location, all kinds of questions around that. So when you use the term DEX, it's very important to understand that in this project, for this proposal, a DEX meant really the full SeiFu, at that time, SeiFu, auto compounding protocol. It is not merely about swapping currencies, which is the generally accepted definition of a DEX today. That's not what we are talking about. This is important. And if you don't accept that, then everything that you accept beyond that is going to be false. So uh, the second part of it is to date, as of right now, there are still no concrete requirements for the swap portion of the DEX, which is the only portion, by the way, that remains to be implemented. And by implemented, I literally mean deployed. It's software being installed on the server, which once we have mainnet, we'll do that. It's not a difficult task at all. The experts in the Discords will tell you that to install PancakeSwap 2 is not a big deal. So we would do that. Now, let's look at specifically what DEX means, because that's important. It means per the excerpt from the contract that I have put here, it means a token, auto compounding. That means the rebasing. Seifu Insurance Fund. This was dropped. And by the way, there have been many changes along the way, and we've gone along with them. The fire pit, that is there. It's been modified multiple times, but it's there. And the treasury, in terms of taking a tax out from transactions and putting into the treasury. So when we got into this, all we had was a marketing website given to us, no concrete requirements. And so we did the best we can. So on this particular slide, and by the way, I'll be sharing my deck later, so you'll be able to look at it and do as you please with it. On the right-hand side, put the milestones, the specific milestones around each of these, and you'll see that almost all of them that are development related are in fact complete. When we started this, we expected to build this DEX out as smart contracts, which is a layer above the protocol. The protocol is the blockchain itself. And what we ended up doing, as it said, is here after the analysis, that this actually needs to be a rebasing protocol. It cannot be a rebasing contract if you want the primary cryptocurrency to be rebasing. And so that's what we did. And the result today is active on testnet. And by the way, it's called testnet, but we could change that to mainnet. The only distinction is which token's going to what accounts. That's it. There is no other change in the software needed because it's been proven to be stable for 3 months. So it's literally that. But in any event, the basic concept of the DEX is actually baked into the protocol. And anyone who does not understand that concept and goes on harping, where is the DEX, is not willing to accept facts. Facts are that all of this is baked into the protocol. And if you go to the URL I have in yellow on the bottom there, Vulcan cost breakdown, it has a cost breakdown of every phase. And in there is also a link to a video where I demonstrate the source code of the protocol being activated, being run, and demonstrate the rebasing, and demonstrate the fire pit, and demonstrate the light node conversions, and all of that. So this is all actually built and running, and has been running for months. So any claim you hear about where is the DEX or whatever is 100% false. They are acting and saying that maliciously, just with an intent to essentially cause doubt. That's it. You have to look at the facts, and the facts are very, very clear in this case. Also on this slide, I've linked a document authored by Nacho Money. What it is the notes for what would essentially be UXI, the DEX, and how the swap would occur. I just want it to be known that as of today, there is still no clear technical requirements on how the swap pair for an arbitrary token with the vol token, which is rebasing, should be implemented. Any person who understands DeFi will know that if you have one token that is constantly inflating with another token that's not, and they're paired together, the liquidity provider is going to have impermanent losses non-stop as often as that token is rebasing. Who is going to provide liquidity for such a pair? Only a foolish person would. So there needs to be a solution for that. That solution has not yet been agreed to. If there is such a document, I have not seen it. The last document I've seen is the one that's linked there. That's the last document Prabhu, or the lead engineer, has also seen. So that's basically the facts. And I'm going to leave it at that now and let people say what they want to. But when it comes to the DEX, always ask the question, what is your definition of the DEX? Does it mean the Seifu auto compounding protocol? Okay, if that's the case, look here. There's a video that demonstrates all of that. And that's it. All right. All right. Moving on now. Let's get to the subject matter at heart. I want to talk about the new blockchain. So what we want to do is we want to implement the dynamic rebasing changes per the strategic plan roadmap and launch a new blockchain for creators. I've gone over this before, and that's basically the vision. I want to implement that vision. We will announce the new brand no later than August 25. So I had intended to announce it actually yesterday, but because of all the chaos going on, it doesn't make sense to introduce a new brand while there's chaos going on, because the whole intent of the brand is to get away from the vestige of the past. We don't want that. So we're going to wait for the dust to settle a little bit and then introduce that. Now, what I want to do is tell you about my plan for raising working capital. So we have to bootstrap this blockchain. So the working capital requirements for approximately around 90 days are 300K, maybe a little faster if we can accelerate things. The use of the funds are to pay outstanding development dues, to pay for the new brand development, the infrastructure costs for starting up new blockchain servers for this, and the balance is for the ongoing development costs and the blockchain and booster launch marketing campaigns. I also want to allocate a small portion of this for a small legal fund for the protocol. So how are we going to raise this working capital? It's with a program that I'm calling Super Booster. It's quite familiar in terms of the booster program, but we've just added some volume components to it to make it easy. So the way it works is basically there are 4 levels. And the first level is $5,000. Your price, your Super Booster price there is essentially $100. So what you're getting is the same equivalent as a booster, but at a discounted price. So if you add up those boosters, that's 5,000 divided by 100. What you end up getting is a total vesting boost of 5%, and you get new vested tokens of 5,000. The next level is level 2, where the Super Booster is $10,000. Now the price goes even lower, $80. You get a vesting boost of 12.5%, and you get new vested tokens of 12,500. The last level, the second to last level, is $25,000 with an even lower price of 50. You get a huge vesting boost there of 30%, and you get a significant chunk of new vested tokens. Now, the important thing is at this level, you're also on the multi-sig for these, essentially, the working capital funds. If you are able to have and are interested in buying a Super Booster at the 50,000 plus level, we would negotiate the terms with you, and you would 100% be on the multi-sig as a signer. So the intent here is to create a model that essentially says, okay, I look at the plan, I see the people involved, I believe in it, and I'm willing to help bootstrap it. That's it. That's plain and simple all it is. We still will need to raise capital, and I'm going to do that with a combination of boosters and also with a combination of essentially seeking outside investors. There's a couple of things that are important. The only purpose of the Super Booster is working capital. It's really enough capital to get things going. And so I put a program minimum of 300K and a maximum cap on it of 500K. This is not about raising, I'm sorry, someone's, sorry about that. Not sure why someone posted that there. But the minimum is 300K and the maximum is 500K. This is not about raising a bunch of capital early on. We're going to do that in a structured way through the booster program. Now, I want to make sure that we don't run into the same situation that we are in right now. So at level 3 and 4, if you're going to contribute that level, we're going to require a verification of identity. We need that to ensure that you are aligned with our vision, and also make sure that you understand the rules that we will set for capital expenditures. For example, we will have a different number of signature requirements for different levels of expenses. So the higher the expense level, the more signatures that would be required. The lower the expense level, the fewer the signatures would be required. But on this, there is no variability. The identity of anyone who gets on the multi-sig has to be verified. So we are aiming to start this as early as tomorrow, and unsure of whether it'll be Ethereum or BSC. We'll finalize that. You will get an NFT, and that NFT becomes your token to swap out once we start issuing the booster related tokens, which will come very shortly after mainnet is live. So this is basically, like I said, the plan to raise working capital. It is not an insignificant amount of money, but it's also not a very large amount of money. And I hope that people who see the plans that we've outlined and see the team and see the vision will and are able to invest with and buy these super boosters will step up for it. Okay, now let's move on and look at the team. So the one thing I want to do is make sure that we follow the DAO model from day one. I don't like centralized businesses and centralized organizations, and I feel like going with a DAO model from day one is really, really good. We want everything to be open and transparent. So the closed meetings are the exception and not the norm. The norm is open meetings where anyone can come and participate. All the funds for the working capital are going to be in a multi-sig. The signers are going to be myself, Adrian, Damien, Prabhu, plus all the super boosters at 25K plus. So we want to make sure that, again, there's a lot of transparency, and we won't have the situation we have right now where one person can essentially hold things up. The DAO org chart will have fixed stipends for each position. One of the things I'm going to do very shortly is put out a spreadsheet with the plan for the stipends, and that will lead us to the actual final raise amount, about how much we need in terms of capital in order to function. So to refresh your memory, the org chart we are going to build is essentially a DAO council with four main councils: strategy, ecosystem, creator, and technology. And then within that, there are a number of teams. So all of this is going to be played out in public. You're going to start seeing the people that I'm choosing for these leads. And I would like to have some community-based voting where it's a combination of weighted voting by the community and by leadership to ensure that you have a say. It's really more about saying you don't want someone versus you want someone. So I want to give the community the option to say, well, great, you chose this person, but no, we don't want that person. So that's kind of what the voting will be about. So that's coming. We'll talk about that more in detail, but today we want to focus more on some of the transitionary aspects of it. And so I'll focus on that. All right, so let's talk about how we're going to make this happen. The resolution for sacrificers. So plain and simple, if you are a token holder in Vulcan right now, if your name shows up, sorry, not your name, your wallet goes into the Genesis sort of token checker, and you have a balance that shows up. I understand that there are some that are not showing up. We'll handle those also, no problem. So you will essentially get tokens in the new blockchain up to 5,000 tokens at no cost. We'll honor the rebasing and all of that also. So if that's what you're holding or less than that, you're set. You have nothing to do. Now, if you have more than 5,000 tokens, we're going to ask you to buy one booster at $150 each to claim each additional 1,500 tokens. So only people having larger number of tokens would do this. But the booster is a benefit to you anyway. It comes with additional vesting, and it also comes with additional tokens. So what you're going to get is essentially a way to transfer, I don't want to say transfer because it's not really being transferred, claim what you have. So essentially what I'm saying is on this blockchain, we want to welcome everyone in the community and make it as easy as possible for you to come. And so here's an example. If you are holding 20,000 tokens, 5,000 of those would be free. The remaining 15,000, you divide by 1,500, you get 10. 10 multiplied by 150, that's 1,500. It's your choice how many you want to claim or don't claim. You can claim as many up to the point that you have there. So this makes it very easy for you to transition to this chain and again, one of the things I care about deeply is feedback. So this is the initial proposal. I would love to get feedback on it and we can tweak it. So this is not an absolute, but it's also not subject to constant, nonstop debate, etc. Let's have a conversation about it, get some immediate feedback, and if the feedback is consistent, then let's change it. I'm willing to do that. So just important to know this. All right. The next thing is the resolution for validators, full nodes, and backers. So I had a conversation with them, and really the main thing that most people were concerned about is getting a return on their investment and not having to spend sort of more than they are willing to take in. So I think the easiest resolution for now, at least, and we can look at more ideas a little later, is to mirror the concept of the incentive pool. So today I'm announcing two new incentive pools. The first one of 2 million tokens for validators. It works exactly like regular incentive pools. And essentially, every time there's a rebase, there are tokens that go into the incentive pool and they're available for everyone pro rata. And those tokens are not vested, so they're available for you right away. Each validator, when this whole thing runs through, will receive approximately 4,000 tokens. That's 2 million divided by 500. I say approximately because if people claim their incentive tokens sooner rather than later, then the remaining folks have more tokens available to them. And don't forget that these will also be rebasing for a period of time, so they will increase. Similarly to that, for the backers or light nodes, there's going to be a pool of 225,000 tokens, and it works exactly like I just explained, so there's nothing new there. The incentive pool model is consistent across OGs, and these additional incentive pools will also be there for full nodes and light nodes. And again, it's a proposal, it's an idea. I always want to listen to feedback. And from the feedback I was given, this seems like it would be a reasonable solution for validators, but I'm open to discussing it further. All right. The next thing is the resolution for the booster volume. So to refresh your memory on this, boosters may be purchased for $150 each until the tokens that are available in the pool for them are depleted. Each booster increases your vesting for the first 6 months by 0.1% each. And in addition, each booster also gets 100 tokens. Now, those tokens that you get are also vested using the same boosted percentage that you will have. So the change I'm proposing today is a cap of 25% of total vesting with a booster, with boosters per account. So essentially, you can buy more boosters if you wish for getting the tokens, but as far as the vesting is concerned, it's capped at 25%. So you can buy as many boosters as you want. As I said, you can get those tokens at a great price, but the vesting will be capped at 25%. All right. The next thing is the timeline. So the go live date, I will still try it for September 1, but it's looking increasingly difficult because of the time we've lost. So I need another week. We need to make up for lost time in testing. A week, folks. That's really it. It's not a huge amount of time, but we've got a lot to catch up on in that time. And all of this that's going on right now is a distraction. I don't think it's going to go away right away. So need a little bit of time for that. We probably will still try to make that September 1 date, but I just want to be realistic and call it September 8. Now, the release 1 date is contingent on us getting at least 150K in by August 25, so we can continue to move forward, and getting at least 300K by September 1. Now, if we are unable to meet those goals, I'll update you, and we may have to push back certain dates if those capital goals are not met. But assuming those goals are met, no problem with the dates that I've quoted here. All right. So the last thing I want to do here is talk a little bit about the good of the community. For those of you who know me, I spent a lot of time here chatting with all of you. I'm still here, and I'm talking to you. My intention is to create something useful for the world of creators and to give you back the return that you're looking for. I'm going to hold in our cap table the token allocations for Jason and BigSpite, and they will not be transferred until there's a dialogue and there's a resolution. I'm willing to negotiate on good faith with them, but it's important that it not happen in an adversarial manner. If you start off negotiations in an adversarial manner, there is no chance for the outcome to be anything but bad. So I want the outcome to be good. So I am happy to discuss their concerns and mitigate them for the good of the community. All I ask is that they not be exaggerated falsehoods, and to look at the truth and to look at facts, and also to take into account the literally hundreds of changes that have occurred since that project proposal was created, and the team statements and agreements that were made along the way. I just don't believe in screenshots and emails and all that. I invite both of them to come here on an AMA. I'm sure all our YouTubers will be happy to do that. And let's talk in front of the community. Let's present the facts. Let's talk respectfully as adults and settle our differences. I did not create this situation. I am still here working for a resolution. I love peace. I think a lot of people love peace. I am a peace loving person at heart and want that more than anything else. I also have worked very hard to build a reputation that you're trashing without any concern right now about that. Uh, I know that it means very little to all of you about how much someone has worked, what sacrifices they've made in order to create that reputation. It can be gone like that. So just urge you to be a little mindful of that and think that there are human beings involved here. It's not just pieces of paper or screenshots, etc. You have to look at intent of people, and you have to look at what their background is and what their vision is for the future. You have to look at what contributions they have made, how they approach the world around them, how they approach people around them, and then make an educated guess. So it is your right to trash my reputation, but it is also my right to stand for what I believe in. And I believe in truth. I believe in good values. I believe in helping people. And I am not going anywhere until everyone's questions are answered. I have done nothing wrong other than create a proposal and submit it at a price that I thought was fair, because my reputation is what was being paid for. I was willing to go into that project agreement and charge a high price because I knew that there was reputation risk in it. I took that risk in an educated manner, but I felt I had to be paid for it. Anytime you're going to do something risky, the price goes up. So to all the people, the technical people who said, oh, I could do this in the afternoon or whatever, I call it bullshit on that. You cannot implement a Go Ethereum rebasing protocol in an afternoon. It hasn't been done yet by anybody. Go check. All the rebasing contracts are smart contracts. No one has protocol level rebasing. I know because I have spent hours Googling. The code doesn't exist. We did it. We have a rebasing protocol. That is a huge technical accomplishment. And I challenge any engineer to sit with me, crank open a brand new Go Ethereum source code, and add rebasing to it. They won't be able to do it right away because it requires a lot of work. So that's the fact. And again, my challenge is open to anybody. I'll do it live with you. I know because I have worked on the code myself as well. So let's get things straight here. All right. We are talking about reputation. We are talking about good engineering. We are talking about facts. Let's keep that straight. I want peace. I'm happy to get on an AMA with anybody and answer any questions. But let's not twist things around to suit your agendas. So again, peace. So Chris, others, let's get back on and talk about this.
All right, guys. We were able to. I was able to star quite a few comments and such, and I didn't see a whole lot of questions. I think people are processing. We did get. There is a post from Plan B, and I don't
Speaking
know.
about Plan B, I have a question, if I may, Chris.
Oh yeah, go ahead. It's all, whatever you guys want to do.
What's going on, Nick? Kryptonian here. I have a question, and this is from deep inside the community here. Those that are truly vested into Vulcan by the hundreds of thousands. The question is, what is your personal opinion on why Jason decided to pull this at the 11th hour? Why do you think he did this? I mean, I know
You
you
have to
can't go
ask
into a
him.
man's heart, mind and all that, but
You
what's
have to ask him that question. But what I know is this: twice, twice he agreed to the terms, and we know that that's a factual truth because the July payment he released it. He signed the multi-sig to authorize that. So he agreed to the terms and then he went back. He again agreed to the terms because he basically said, well, I want to change them. I'm like, okay, fine, let's negotiate. And we changed the terms again. He agreed, and then he would not sign the multi-sig. So that's where we are. I don't know what people's motivations are.
of course.
Honestly, all I want to do is get this blockchain launched. That's really it at this point. I just want that more than anything else.
I appreciate that answer, and and you just kind of laying it out that he did agree, and then he went back, and then he agreed again. That speaks a lot to a man's character. Um, in my experience in dealing with contracts and customers and vendors and suppliers, usually when a deal is struck, it's up to both parties to execute. Very rarely do you go back on your word, especially after the deal is struck. So that just speaks to double-mindedness to me. That's a sign of weakness, in my opinion. But I don't know why. I can't speak to why he did that. I can't read, just like you can't. We can't go into their minds or to their hearts. But time will tell, and time is running out. Thanks for the answer, Nick.
Yep.
Okay, I have a question that I got. Nick Tartan, let me pull this off the screen. We'll have it down here so that we can actually see you because it's small in the back. Tartan Madman says, I have 9,000 vol and would need to find 150 times 3 so that I can get my full current 9,000 vol I hold. I am low on funds to get 450 together so I don't lose my 4,000 vol. How long do I have?
It's a good question. I think we'll probably put a time limit on it after we go mainnet live. I would say probably 90 days or something like that. It's indeterminate right now, but it's a question that I will get answered quickly. Let's just put it this way, right? Everything here is designed to not be hostile towards people. It's designed to favor people. So whatever we can do, we'll do it. But we also have to be reasonable, and we can't have unlimited kind of things. So we'll put up something reasonable there. I think something like 90 or 120 days is probably a reasonable amount of time. So that's kind of what we'll do.
Yeah. I mean, my initial calculation, I have to double check it with the with everybody and everything, but I got to buy, I think, like 50 of them or something, like $7,500 worth of boosters. So
Yeah. So also let's talk about the rationale behind it, right? So we are inheriting a massive
mhm.
token deficit without any like of the associated
Right.
benefits of it. We're
Yeah.
basically like we can't just give away millions of tokens on a new protocol like that. So I had to, but at the same time, wanted to create something that would favor a majority of people. And again, like I said, let's have a community discussion about this and vary that if we need to. I'm prepared to do that.
Yeah. I think, yeah, we have a discussion and everything like that. I think it's important. And I completely understand the part. I think it's everybody's trying to do, and your plan looks like you're trying to do as right as possible without basically saying here everybody gets what they want, everybody gets, you get a Cadillac, you get a Cadillac and everything, but we got to really legitimately have, we got to be able to make it.
Yeah.
Noah says and it's a super chat, I'm not sure where it came from, but I'm sure the whatever YouTube, they're very appreciative. Will the node model stay the same with this plan?
Yeah, not if you haven't seen any change here, then the strategic plan as it stands, as it was presented, stands. I tried to keep everything the same, so the node model also stays the same. where there are any moves or any actions or any things you're required to do that seem inefficient, we'll probably get rid of those.
Here's anti BS put in the chat. I think I did. There's a couple people in there. This is the Discord link to the Discord that Nick created called New Name, which is quite. Well, I like that. That was pretty cool. So, and I was pretty shocked, and we do have a. I was pretty shocked about the fact that they timed you out and all that. I just think that, and then the little dig of the name that now they call you. What do we call it? The naughty corner now instead of the team lead and everything. Find that to be funny. But we have a comment in here, and I'm not sure how you feel about it, Nick, and I could bring it up. But they were asking for to bring up the comment that Jason made in the Discord, and see if you wanted to read it, and if you had any kind of comment, or if you wanted to talk about it.
Look, Chris, I am 100% transparent. I will look at and respond to whatever. I'm fine. Just don't go into anything with my family. Other than that,
yeah, it's only fair, and I think the same thing. They deserve the same amount of respect also. So I will. I'll bring up the let's see here. Let's go here and here and here. And all right. So it's kind of hard. I don't know if you can see. It's about as much as I can get it. I could save a copy and do it, but I'll read through it. This is from Plan B. I would assume. I think there's question about it being green. I thought it would be different color, but we're going with this. This is a post from Plan B. So I've had to think, and this is what is going to happen. I'm the guy in the middle of all this SHIT. I have told my concerns to Nick, and he has lied to me directly. I have asked Bix to be involved in the meeting with Nick, and he has flat out refused at times. He has argued with Nacho about the importance about security. He has argued with Elliot about the importance about audits. Adrian said that he would back me up about my concerns. He didn't. Damien said he would back me up. He didn't. I have shown proof about the funds. I've shown proof about the funds about the actual blockchain build, which Nick lied about. Oh, the DEX is too hard to build is the current excuse. Nick claims it is 90% done, but can't show us anything and changes milestones. He holds the build hostage with developers promising to get the money from people he already owes money to from Decentology in 3 days. The same person that pays his debts with the money raised from the amount paid for the blockchain, the same person that sent money to a co-founder after he paid a payment for the blockchain, because if we didn't, then it'll be delayed. F this SHIT. This isn't my battle. Bix doesn't deserve to be attacked for calling Nick out. I don't deserve to be attacked for calling Nick out. Nacho doesn't deserve to be attacked for calling Nick out. Elliot doesn't deserve to be attacked for calling Nick out. The Discord goes back to its owner. Super boosters, LOL. More like I owe 7 million plus, and I need you to pay for it before an out, so you can fund my exit fee from all my Decentology and NFT dream and NBL debts, plus all the rent. No audit, no testing, no protocol change, no DEX made, no bridge made. And there's some screenshots that he has that, people can actually, I'm not going to go read through all of them. If they want to see them, then they can go look at the screenshots. I'm not sure what your position is, Nick, and how you want to answer it, and anything like that. You want me to keep it up on the screen?
I don't know how I can address so much falsehood, but I'll try and go through it. Let's take it piece by piece, right? So I started off my presentation here today by telling you it's very important to understand what the definition of a DEX is, right? So the DEX literally is all the SAP stuff. It is implemented. I have a video demonstrating it. It's all working. So I don't know what more I can show to demonstrate that. I'm happy to keep doing more video demos of this and going through source code. Yeah, I won't release the source code until it's been fully paid for. That's part of how IT software deals work. You pay and you get the source code. So I have never discounted the importance of security. What I am a fan of is balancing the needs of the community with security. So if you look at the roadmap has the mainnet RC1 with only 4 validators, 2 internal and 2 external. This means that as the audit is in progress, if there's any problems that are found, we can fix the software and reset the blockchain without a huge inconvenience of forking or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. I care deeply about security, and which is why we've been very careful to make sure that all the changes are not at any of the consensus layer or anything like that. They are primarily the computation for the balances. That's it. I've never said no to security, so I don't know where that comes from. I have shown proof over the funds about the actual build, and so have I. At the very onset, there was a question and answer document that Jason composed. I filled it in. I provided a bunch of detail in there. What I had not included in there was the funds for the 4 new dApps and the rebranding changes. So I've added those also to the document I showed today and presented that. There was also an issue with the conversion rate of Seifu, which Bix pointed out to me I had used incorrectly. I fixed that and put that also, the correct her numbers in there. So we are actually, the document I shared and they shared in terms of spending are in alignment. I don't know if they're off by a couple dollars, but they're very much in alignment. So I have no issue reporting the facts there. So there's no dispute on my part about how much has been spent, etc. The dispute is in them not understanding what has been built and what has been delivered. Maybe they understand it but are unwilling to acknowledge it because it suits whatever it is that they want to claim. But I have no dispute at all with the amounts. I am in agreement with it, and I have presented all the deliverables and the state of each one because this is still a blockchain in development. It's not like I'm claiming that, oh, it's done. And if you remember the roadmap, there were dates and deliverables for other things also. So still good to do that. And the DEX is in fact 90% done in the definition. All that remains to be done is PancakeSwap v2 needs to be deployed on a server and a pair added. I will repeat once again for people who didn't catch it the first time. The problem is not the DEX. The problem is figuring out how to balance a stable or another cryptocurrency with a rebasing cryptocurrency. Who in their right mind would provide liquidity for that? That's one thing. The other thing is also, which I didn't mention earlier, is we don't have an oracle. We have no way to get prices of arbitrary tokens. So we are limited to the pairs that can be held. But we can work around that by having only a token that exists on this protocol so that you can do a contract-based lookup. Look, I know my technical stuff, all right? So I would not be trying to, I would not be so foolish enough as to tell you something that isn't the absolute truth on it. The fact of the matter is that all the things, auto compounding, the fire pit, the treasury, the flax, the taxes, the light node income from gas, it's all there in the protocol. That's basically the umbrella term for DEX. And anyone who continues to argue that the DEX is not built, I'm sorry, but you are a complete idiot. I hate to use this language, but you're unwilling to accept the facts. The only part about the DEX that's not been done is installation of PancakeSwap on the server. And again, tell me how to handle the rebasing versus the cryptocurrency thing. Give me technical requirements for that. It'll be done. It'll be done in a couple days, maybe even less. That's it. So the same person that pays his mod paid. All right. So my CTO, my technical lead, Prabhu, uh, I hope basically he worked on Poet, which is the application, the token application, with a promise of rev share in the future. That's the only money owed. I don't owe any developers at Decentology anything. Um, Bix doesn't deserve. I haven't attacked anyone, so I don't know who's attacking, but it certainly wasn't me. I don't owe $7 million. I don't owe anything close to that. If you add up all my credit card debt and everything else, I doubt you would come to even $100,000. I don't owe much money to people. So let's see here. I don't have any Nifty Dreams debt. It is my DAO. I founded. I have invested in it. So how could I owe something in something I've invested? NBL. So ePlays brought NBL deal to me. I agreed to take on the development costs. I agreed to be a co-licenser in that. I owed them the MG, the license fees for that. I've paid them that. So it's pretty straightforward. So Chains is a joint venture between the three companies. It's a rev share based venture. I have paid my share of the licensing rights for NBL, and I have invested in the development of that. So it's pretty up. Like there's no controversy about it. It's pretty clear. No audit, no testing, no protocol change, no DEX made, no. So that's all. I also the bridge. Bridge is a piece of software that we install. So as soon as mainnet is there, we'll install it. Like again, ask the technical people in there. How much effort does it take to take an open source bridge and install it? Not a whole lot, So we'll do that and we'll manage it. So the key thing that they're harping on about is DEX, and I am here to tell you that they need to look at the information I've presented. It's the project proposal. DEX is actually just a catch-all term for a bunch of things. It has been implemented in the protocol. I presented a video here today showing the Go Ethereum source code that was modified. I don't know what more evidence I can provide. So that's that. So basically, a bunch of falsehoods here. There was one thing here about I refuse to be in a conversation with Bix. I 100% agree to that. And there are two reasons for that. Until now, all negotiations, every single one of them, have always included just Brian, Adrian, Damien, and Jason. Not a soul has been in any other negotiation before. Two, if you've had a conversation with Big Spike, you know that the conversation goes downhill pretty rapidly into a very adversarial kind of manner, and nothing gets productive happens. So for me, I made a deal with the team there. I'm going to negotiate with them as a contractor. They can go get their details, etc., from anyone else and bring it to the table. That's all I was saying. So I wanted the meetings to be productive, and I also wanted to negotiate with the folks who I had an obligation with. That's it. So hopefully I've addressed. Did I miss anything on there?
I have a question in general, and it just might be me. What does he mean? The Discord goes back to its owner?
Oh, I don't know. He's been the owner of it. So, I mean, like you see the go F yourself, etc. Whereas my slide says, let's have peace and let's have a conversation. Mm-hmm. You be the judge on who's the adult here.
Yeah, I want to bring up a comment that I think it's important because I don't want it to get lost in everywhere. Daniel Prado, Worldwide, he makes a comment, says, Nick, I'm sorry if you were offended by me saying there's no DEX today on my channel, but I have not seen anything like what you're showing today until today. So that's why I said that. And, I mean, I just want to, there's a ton of questions and everything, but I wanted to bring that up too, because I wanted to make sure that he had his, had his say and everything like that. And I didn't see his thing, but I do know that I have to commend Daniel, because Daniel talked about having a AMA with the other guy, and he took a vote. From what I understand, took a vote in his community, and they said no, they don't want that, and he listened to it and he canceled it. But it may have changed by now. But I just want to say that, you know,
Yeah, I appreciate Daniel saying that. And look, I even to Jason, I have no hard feelings. He can call me whatever he wants, etc. I understand human nature. I understand what people do under stress, under anxiety, when they are cornered, etc. I understand all of that. I am willing to forgive. I am willing to continue the rational debate, but you gotta be respectful. You gotta
yeah.
treat people with respect if you're gonna get anything out of it. You can't have negotiations when you start off by insulting people and calling them names, etc. So
Yeah, and I want to say something on the fact that, I mean, Jason, I mean, I don't know if he'll see this or anything like that, but Jason is right that nobody should be lashing out at Bix and Nacho and all that kind of
I
stuff.
agree. I agree.
But the problem that comes with that is that when people see Jason, they see Brian. And when they see, and Jason is so intertwined with Brian, he has done very little to try to remove him from that situation. And when somebody comes in and says that's even anything remote to being with Jason, they're going to get flack because people are so sick and tired of what Brian has done, and which in turn, whether justly or unjustly, Jason is taking the brunt of it too, whether it's
Yes.
guilt by association or whatever. But so yeah, and Bix and Nacho and Elliot and all that. These none of these people should be getting any grief at all. They're trying to do their jobs, and they're trying to do what's best for the community. I feel like they're trying to do what's best for the community. Nacho, I don't know a whole lot, but his involvement in Safe Fugo, I think that's something. But seems like a good guy, and I think people should take that for face value and not lump him in with everybody else.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like, I don't know why people have sort of, people are in the situation they're in, but all I ask is to communicate with me. I'm a rational person. I'm
Yeah.
have a discussion, and if something needs to change, we'll change that. But I need to have a rational conversation. I cannot begin a conversation with, "You did this, you did this, you did this. Go to hell." You can't do that, Chris. You gotta. So even like at the cost of my own, I took the lumps, let's say, for Jason. I went on so many AMAs and said, look, I still support him. People are like, why the hell are you supporting the guy? Right? I'm like, I have not seen any evidence of wrongdoing. I want to make sure everyone has due process. In the same way, I want to make sure that everyone gives me due process. Don't just go to judge, etc., based on sketchy facts and 1 or 2 line comments in the Discord. Understand the detail and the fact. There's a year-long history of stuff here that people need to get into. Understand business. Understand the consulting business of how deals are made, how they work, what deliverables are, etc. We have a contract that is devoid of any terms. There are no terms in this contract. So, as a contractor, when I present something, a proposal, I expect the opposing party, the client, to come with a contract. And usually you sign that or you agree on some of the terms. I was given nothing. They literally just signed off on my proposal. That's it. Right. So, and now retroactively, people are making demands after the fact. People who were not part at all, of the negotiation, and they are asking me to provide things that were never a requirement, which is fine. I will discuss that and provide because we've done the work. It's there. Anyway, enough of
Nick,
that.
can I ask you something? And this is something that bothers me, and this plan that you talked about and everything like that. I got to read into it and everything, but I'm very happy that, and I know that you're open to negotiations. We'll have some comments and some people that how they feel, but I did get a message, and the meaning of the Discord will go back to the owner. I'm told that means that that the Discord will go back to Brian, and he is actually back in the Discord now.
Okay.
Will any of this that you presented to us? Will any of this who can you who is this going to include? Who is it? Is Brian going to have anything at all to do with this? And can you verify to us a way that because because with the multi-sig and all that situation is I know that I know there may not have been a specific conversation or wording saying that Brian is not on the multi-sig, but everybody, all of us thought that he was not on the multi-sig. But will you have a way that you can verify these are the people that are there? This is you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think even with Jason and everything like that, with the way that it's coming across with every post that he puts out and everything like that, and then now returning the Discord back to Brian, I think now I have an extreme concern that Brian is back into and never really left. And with the plan that you have, what will his role be, and what would
Nothing.
Jason's role be?
He's not even like we would block him from the Discord even, but they would have no role if Jason has any potential role. It would be in terms of owning tokens, basically. Like I said, I've kept those token allocations there for them. If they want it, let's talk about it, and I'm willing to do that. But no, there's just no scenario in which they would have any role on the multi-sig. And I think one way to approach that is for everyone to first publish their address and their public key, and then we require each person to maybe even on camera sign a random message that we create and do it in front of us, and then we verify that signature. And if it is in fact accurate, then we know that, okay, that's a valid account for the multisig. So they have to do it live on camera. They have to sign whatever phrase we give them live on camera while sharing their screen, and just do it. Yeah. I think that would be one way to mitigate that the person we are actually adding to the multisig is in fact the person who they claim to be, because it is impossible for them to achieve that on camera without knowing their private key and all of that. So
yeah, now with me and the situation that I'm in, this is the Brian and Jason now. With I mean, I want to try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's getting harder and harder. But this is full stop for me. This is full stop. If they have anything at all to do with anything going forward, I'm sitting there.
I'm trying to distance from that as much as possible.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And basically you're willing to, do something that could be verifiable, that's the only people.
Yes.
Involved.
And if any security expert in the audience here has a great way for us to verify people's live as they are added to a multi-sig, let's do it.
Okay. I appreciate that. That wasn't a question from here. It was more mine, but probably spent too much time on it. Let's get to them.
I have a question. I got a question. Okay. Been waiting a long time for this question.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't.
All right. Real quick, Nick. So what you're asking us as a community is to, pretty much you got two directions, pretty much jump ship. If you're going to stay here with the original team, you're very well, you can, but you're giving us a plan that pretty much will go towards you, where the previous, I'm guessing Brian Legend and Jason would not be part of that team. I also saw on the slide that it said some of the funds would go towards a legal fund. Will that be, can you even tell the community, because when we come over this way, having a legal fund, could you even help the community in a way to help us kind of recover, or at least hold people accountable for what's happened through this whole ordeal? Can we do that? Because seeing that kind of like everybody's that's part of this community has been involved with this some way or another, and we're trying to go a different direction to go forward. Can you kind of and that would, I think it would help the community, if you can or can't, but at least we know if you can or can't. But can that be possible to have a legal fund that help us recover and hold people accountable for what's been done?
Yeah, so that legal fund is actually two parts. Thanks for asking your question. One part is that it is not beneath them to basically make my life miserable by throwing false legal charges, etc. So I just want to make sure that I have some mechanism to protect myself and to have legal representation. And by myself, I mean actually the whole protocol, because they could do all kinds of things around that. So that's part one of it. I have my personal insurance and things like that also for that. But I just want to make sure that we have clearly designated funds for that. And the second thing is, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how we can, and I'm certainly not don't know too many lawyers in Australia and what their laws are and all that. But I think what we need to do is first find out, was there any evidence of a criminal uh, wrongdoing? Because again, due process, right? Like we know what has happened, but how does the law look at it, etc. So we need a lawyer to tell us that, and we need a lawyer to help guide us on something we can do, and we would act upon that. So I can't commit to that until we've actually spoken to a lawyer about it. And as you know, until now, I haven't had access to any of the capital to be able to make those calls. But that's why I specifically called that out in this slide. I just want people to know that it's my intent.
Fowler, do you have anything else?
Thank you. Yeah, because I mean, I know a lot of people, it's kind of hard to like, hey, we're gonna, what you're saying is really literally jumping ship. Like, hey, like we're going this way, we're forgetting these guys, but we don't want to forget. Like, there's a lot of people out there just don't want this to just disappear, and we want to make sure that people are held to account, and not necessarily us just kind of like moving on. But at least we know that if we move forward with you and totally disband with this toxicity on the other side of this, that we will still not forget what's happened here, but we will still move forward in a positive direction.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I'm not asking anyone to make that a decision of A or B. All right. So if you so desire, you can have A and B. That's your choice. It's up to you. All I'm saying is that I want this. I made an obligation, a commitment to this community, and I intend to honor that obligation. And this is why I've basically offered this. If this doesn't happen, if we can't get the working capital, then at that point, I still feel I want to create a blockchain for creators. I like the vision I've outlined, but I'll probably do it another way. There are infinite number of ways in which you can do this, but the plan I've proposed here addresses the fact that a lot of people are left with no recourse and no plan right now for the future. And this gives you a plan. So if you believe in me and believe in the plan and the vision, then join. But if the others come up with something and you trust them, the important thing, you trust them, then you can stick around with them.
Yeah. I have confirmed 100% that Brian is back into the Vulcan Discord, and he is the admin of it. So I have left that server, and I will not have anything to do with it. And I 100%, I'm not going to have anything to do with that. That toxicity is just ridiculous. And I don't know what Jason's motivation is, but handing it back over to Brian just puts it in a, I can't even fathom what possibly could be thought about. Nelson says, will validators run as nodes in the new blockchain?
I mean, the answer is yes. I'm trying to see if there's a deeper sort of meaning that I'm not parsing from there. The answer is yes.
Yes.
The validators are the nodes of the new blockchain.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought that too when I read it, but I wasn't sure if that was something that goes over my head, that I was like, I'm not sure. But then the next one we have on here, for some reason, I think that people who put money in the project are punished with additional boosters in order to claim their tokens. Maybe one booster to unlock more, like 4,000, 5,000 coins. I think that's where there's several comments that come up about is the 5,000, is that something that can be negotiated? The next comment that we have is discussing about this, suggesting that maybe 10,000 free instead of 5,000 for different people. Is that something that you're willing to have a conversation?
Yeah, I said right away, I'm willing to consider the tokenomics on that. So if enough people give the right feedback on that, if that's like, obviously everyone's going to want everything.
Right.
But yeah, I think within reason we can negotiate that. Look, my goal is to give you guys a new lease of life for your tokens, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And this next question that we have on here
100% true. That is no longer anything to do. And again, my slide there was offering him his token allocation if there was a good negotiation.
Right. Tartan Madman, he says, I have 9,000 vol. And and I already
Oh, you
brought this
answered
up.
this
You
one.
already
Yeah,
brought this up.
yeah.
Yeah. And you answered that. And we're thinking 90 to 120 days. Is
I'm
that
not saying. Are most of the comments saying that it should be 10,000? Is that what you're seeing? What is the consensus?
I think I do think that there is like 9,000 to 10,000, but I think people have to start thinking about it and stuff like that too. Because I I don't want to pay more, but I understand the position and everything like that. So I think that it's more along the lines of I have to look into it a little bit more. And I think a lot of
What are
people
some
do.
alternatives you would propose? Like this is my first
I don't
idea.
think that I don't think I could come up with one because it's more along the lines of I feel like I hold a bigger bag, and I think that I would be like, I don't want to feel like I'm punished because I want to get the remaining bag, but at
Yeah,
the same time, I understand that there. I mean, not everybody can just get, I mean, it's going to take quite a bit and everything like that, and I want to feel like I want to have discussions with other people, get their input and stuff like that. So I can see where you're starting off. I think that's a good place. And if you're willing to have a little bit of negotiation and move a little bit, then I think that we can all come to something.
definitely.
Isn't there a way to like vest for longer periods of time to kind of make that happen for people with bigger bags?
Could
I
do
mean,
that.
I've always been a fan of that. I would
Yeah,
go
I think that's a
longer.
reasonable ask. But the thing is, vesting was so controversial and all of that. But yeah, I mean, that's a reasonable.
I mean, I only think that vesting would work for people with bigger bags because people still want this to happen, but they
Yeah,
also don't want to feel like they're getting chopped off at the knees to make it happen. But if it can happen with vesting, I'm pretty sure those people would probably even on a vote would probably say like, we would take longer to just to make sure we could, attain, well, keep our, our potential wealth, unrealized wealth. So
yeah,
I think there's a possibility for this to work for everybody. I don't want us to, some people to feel like, hey, I've been cut down to somebody who already had 5,000 in their bag, 5,000 coins in their bag. I think longer term investing, because this is a long term investment. Like this
yeah,
is a people. I think people have already come to the mindset that this was going to be long term. I think the short term people are already either fizzled out or moved on, and we can still bring them back, and they'll eventually catch up. But the people who are here who have bigger bags and they see this for a long term ordeal, I think we could. I think vesting could work. I really do think vesting can work, and it doesn't have to feel like the incentives to that vesting has to hurt the rest of the blockchain either. So I think I
can I
think
share
there's
my
something.
screen?
Yeah.
It's actually shared already. So yeah. So here we go. This is real time how DAOs work, etc. I mean,
So
basically
is
the
this?
input.
There we go.
Yeah, here
I'm
we
sorry.
go.
Let me take this off real quick.
Let's do this. So no cost. Yeah, at no cost, up to 5,000, and then for tokens greater than 5,000, the balance will vest over an additional 18 months. Good.
So, yeah.
You get no
See that?
capital out of it, which means we have to raise more capital elsewhere. But that's fine. I mean, is that a good proposal?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been I know 18 months and everything like that, and
Mhm.
I don't want to make a commitment, but my personal feeling is that I have always been, and I've said this even before when we were talking about when the vesting schedule before started. I am always been a proponent of, if I was to get a type of return that I would be able to. A lot of people wouldn't, so I don't want to speak for them, but I would be willing to go a lot longer vesting to get maybe maybe an extra percent or so or something like that, or get some type of thing. But and I see what you're trying to do here. Yeah, and I mean, I would definitely, if the option was that you didn't have to buy a certain amount of boosters and stuff like that, you've invested longer. I would definitely be interested in that. Yeah, I think I'd like to know some of the smart people in the community, have a conversation with you, and what you guys brainstorm. I think I think if legitimately all people were heard and what you guys came up with, I think I'd be supportive. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
largely, uh, I'm also thinking about liquidity, right? I need to get capital
yes.
in, and
Yes.
that's basically the challenge. So, uh, you know, the vesting is a reasonable solution because what it does is like, okay, it doesn't flood the market with. My goal was that if you're going to have tokens in there and that's going to require additional liquidity, then you contribute to that liquidity. But if you go investing, that means that there aren't going to be tokens flooding the market, and so it's okay. So we'll just have to solve the liquidity problem another way. But that's always the case. We had to do it there also. It's just working capital. That's the primary concern here. Otherwise, there's no difference in the scenarios. And
Yeah.
now, I mean, I know what's going to happen now is all of a sudden, miraculously, Brian's going to be like, "Here is your money back," and then maybe things will go back to normal. But the question is, do you trust?
Okay, let's get on to some more questions, and they keep coming in, so I want to keep up and let people get an opportunity. Chris, is it mandatory to buy boosters to bail to get your vol, or the boosters just gives you an extra vesting percentage, but you still get the regular 0.25 if you do not buy a booster?
Yeah, we haven't changed any of those tokenomics.
Okay.
It's not mandatory to buy. You don't have to buy anything.
Um, how about Plan B? Join the live stream instead of telephone game, like it's in grade school. Yeah, I don't know that I would be the one that I would participate in something like that, especially after this garbage. Um, so I'm like, Chris, the amount I would pay would be devastating to keep all my possible coins. Just because we have a lot of coins does not mean we are rich. Does this does not seem fair? I can understand that. And hopefully there's a lot of these comments might have been before we were talking about vesting and other
Yeah.
options that Nick would be taking in, but I just didn't want to miss them and go. One option would be to get new tokens based on the actual amount each one has. For example, give 70% of the current bag as a starting point and then apply the boosters.
I love that. That's a great idea. So we have
Yeah.
3 ideas now.
There we go.
So this is how we get resolution and come up with something that yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Me as well. 9,500 tokens, kind of broke already, but it's going to be better than nothing, I guess. And hopefully, it ends up being something that works out well for you and it's good. Please, can you ask Nick if someone has a full node inside of a sacrifice wallet? The sacrifice wallet is 3K, and the node had 2785, taking it above the 5K. Are they counting as both below 5,000?
Yeah, the sacrifice wallets are all in. It's not counted. So you're going to get your sort of the node. Sorry, the node wallet is what I mean. The node wallet is basically a gimme. It's guaranteed. You've invested in that. So yeah, and again, it seems very much to me like we are leaning towards a couple of other plans than the one I propose, and I would be very happy on this live stream to go through some of these comments and just resolve it and revise the plan right here, real time.
Yeah, I think that's great. And one of the other things that I've noticed is when you did the plan before, a lot of people in the different lives that I had, they would have comments or they would DM me, and I would read it, whatever, and then I would take a screenshot and send it off to you, and then you would reply to me or you would reply directly to them. And I thought that was a great way, like collaboration, that you were talking in a Discord, plus different people would have different questions, and you would talk to them about them. And I think that's great. So, exactly, the totally unprofessional, ugly, destructive, I don't care about this community at all response that you would expect from BL's best friend. I jumped in 15 minutes late, so I apologize if this was covered. I have 15,650 vol. I would get 5,000 free, but then have to pay 150 for each 1,500 new coin as a booster. So between 6 and 7 boosters, right?
Well, if you go with that plan, but it seems increasingly that we're going to go with an alternate plan. So,
right. As it is right now, that question was what we were talking about. But Jocko, you have any kind of ideas? Nick's got a couple of them that are ready. But if you have any ideas, send him his way or my way, or you can just call me or whatever. Does buying super boosters exempt you from requiring to buy boosters to release our tokens? Release our tokens over 5,000.
Yes. So we would. I didn't clarify that, but yes. Yeah.
Okay. Also, if I wanted to buy more boosters to increase my total, let's say I wanted to buy 10 or 15 boosters, would that be added onto my total?
So as I mentioned, one of the key concerns people had is people buying a bunch of boosters and getting 100%
Mm-hmm.
vesting, right? So you can buy boosters to get the tokens, but in terms of vesting, you cap out at 25%.
Okay. All right. The next question here, and then I'll go directly to the comments. I saw a bunch of them coming up on the live feed, so I got to get over there. Why are the other two founders staying silent? Have you spoke to them, Nick? And I think that they're talking about Damien and Adrian. Are you in a position that, depending on this plan and everything like that, and what we're doing, is this something that they would be coming out, or are they just people? They just don't do these types
They,
of things,
they,
or
they are not very social media folks, but as we move forward with some of this thing, I'll make a request for them to do a one-time kind of appearance, because a lot of people are not very comfortable in front of a camera. It's just
right?
how things are.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm every day. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but they are very much. I converse with them a lot of times a day. So
Oh, okay. This is at somebody else, but I'll just read it anyway. Not sure the super booster is a lot more pricey. If you only require one booster to receive the remaining 1,500 you have left from your sacrifice, $150 makes more sense to do so. So, just a conversation there. I wasn't sure why I got that one. So, surely Nick cannot continue any dialogue with Plan B after him telling him to, we know what that says in the post. This is out of order from Plan B.
so look, when I was younger, hot-headed me would probably just say no, no, not. But look, I have learned that people have different things going on in their lives. People have challenges, etc. So I'm a little more forgiving than most people would be. And yeah, I'd like to have a dialogue. I'm not a pushover, but I do believe in dialogue and resolution.
Um, I don't think I read that. I apologize. I think it was a comment on what Brian was doing. I apologize, and I unstarred it, and it's way up there. But I did. I got through those. Now I came in here, and so Daniel Prado says, "Is there a way that liquidity pools can be whitelisted so they do not rebase?"
I don't know what the motivation for that would be, but here's the thing. The And again, this is why it's important to recognize the rebasing is a protocol level thing. It applies universally to everything, and we can start putting conditions and say that if account this, then don't rebase, etc. But then you don't have a truly good decentralized protocol. What you've got is a bunch of business rules baked in, and I think that makes for kind of a bad protocol almost. So I'd like to understand the motivation, because Daniel obviously thought of something that triggered that. I'd like to understand that. Maybe it's something good. We'd have to look at it. But
Yeah.
right now, it's really challenging to just on a case by case basis turn on or off rebasing.
Yeah, it looks like we have conversations here. I'm just going through the chat and looking for any. I got through all the starred ones from when you were talking and everything. Now I'm looking at more of just the first ones that come up and talking about that um, Brian is now the owner of the Vulcan Discord. Well, I guess he always was. I don't know, but he's in there, so I'm not. I'm not going to that. I'm out of there. I'm not going to play with that game or anything like that. I did have a question that came in. Okay, Nick, if you have an opportunity when we finish this, I have been asked to ask you something off the record.
Okay.
So, and I don't think it's not something like the community be like, "What are you talking about?" It's something that's just private, So
Okay.
I don't think anybody will. If you knew what it was, you'd be like, "Who cares?" I don't want to know that. So let me scroll down through here. So Tartan Madman says if Nick is saying that give us more than a few weeks to get 150 together for each 150 1500 ball, then I'm fine with that. Thank you. Um, uh, oh yeah. So Odie did. He had to take off. He had a previous commitment that he had to get to. Um, oh my goodness. Now the chat just okay. I'm right. I'm there. Okay. So okay. So LBG says Chris warned people to get out of the Discord. I mean, they can make that choice on their own. I am not going to be a part of that. Um, we're going in a different direction, and or I'm going in a different direction, and okay, uh, okay, and Daniel brings up, and people are like, stop prioritizing Daniels, but I think this information is important. Daniel confirms that was canceled. So there's that. There's a lot of questions. I'm going to skip all the way to the bottom because I see them coming up on my side. So I'm going to skip all the way down here and still can't find any of them. Um, so one of the questions that came up, and I'm there. It is. Do we have a name for the blockchain, or is that still? Are we in a position that?
I just said there's two top contenders right now, and we're close to finalizing it. And yeah,
Nick,
I wish.
listen, I know I'm number two because you know what? You don't have to get my permission to use my name if you want to. I mean, that's fine.
Cruise chain. I like it.
Yeah, that would be, I would be actually freaked out. Okay, so NR has a question here. He says, sorry, I joined late. What happened to the node holders in the new plan?
The node holders get an incentive pool of 2 million tokens that work the same way as the existing incentive pool. Every time there's a rebase, a portion of them vests and are available for all node holders to claim.
And then Sky High says, Nick, does Nick have a shot of who holds what in each wallet?
Yeah, that's basically the checker that's there right now. Yeah.
Marshall, holder of nodes, and you know we've had communication. He's has some great ideas and stuff, but with all that has recently happened, has Nick looked at the two WhatsApp messages from BL, and if so, does this shed any light on current events? If you can answer, Nick, I would understand.
I think he's referring to the fact that in one stream I talked about I got messages. I still haven't looked at them. I should just block. That's what I'll do, and that way I don't have to deal with the problem.
Yeah, I can totally understand it. NR says communication is key in any relationship. Much respect, Nick.
Thanks.
Let's see. Let's see. That's to Brew. That's to DayFi. Where are all these questions I keep getting? So Hendrix has another question. Let me scroll down because I saw it over here. Hendrix says node holders gets the incentives, but also the gas fees. Correct?
Yep, that hasn't changed. Just added another incentive. There is the 2 million tokens.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, I know that people are asking questions, but on my side, I see them in the live, but they're not coming up. Okay, so Tartan Madman says, and I can't bring it up because I keep scrolling through and the messages keep changing. But Tartan Madman says, we would still have the super boosters to help liquidity and could vest everything over 5,000 for another 16 months.
Yeah, so the super boosters are only to get working capital, really just to get going and finish up and launch. That's it. So after that, we have to go with boosters and other means to get liquidity. Because I'm capping the super booster at 500K.
Anti-BS says, is there plans to get the new Discord out there for users still stuck on the Vulcan Clueless? All links, I'd imagine, will get deleted, so posting on Twitter AMA is the only way to reach them.
Yeah, we'll have to mount a sort of a PR initiative in order to get that going.
Sunny T, here's Nick. First off, thank you. Really, this is insane. So what you're saying is basically you are going to take control of what work and give us a chance without BL and Jason. Take blockchain you built, raise 300K, and roll with the plan.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to, and the most important thing is I want to give the community a chance to prosper.
Okay. Sky High has a question. Ask if we don't buy a booster, do we get credit for any tokens we hold in Vulcan? Just clarify.
Yes.
Clarify, please.
Yes.
And I don't know if this is a question. I didn't have time to read it, but I'm gonna bring it up. Always has something good to say. Uh, have two options for your bag. Have a longer vesting period at no charge. To pay for you to have all your tokens, but no vesting period, no vesting time.
Yeah. The thing is that second option, I you would pay, but the amount could not be the same as what you would, the liquidity amount of it. So the equation would never work. Like, because if you essentially had to pay a certain amount, you need to then, and the idea is to liquidate, right? Uh, that amount you paid can't be used for any development or whatever. It has to go right into the liquidity pool immediately. You see, that's the challenge it is, but it's certainly worth looking into.
Yeah, here's an interesting comment. No one should invest one more dollar in this blockchain until we choose who will have access to the new multi-sig wallet. Brian and Jason are going to scam us again.
Not in this multi-sig wallet. And as I said, we'll go through a live verification of who's on. And yeah, I think it's reasonable to be very, very highly suspicious of it, and make sure that we don't allow anyone who is unscrupulous on there.
One of the questions here is, and I'm starting to think that I brought these up, but let me know if these are
Yeah, this is a repeat.
This is a repeat.
Yeah,
I thought I saw that. And then what about this one here, Nick? To further explain the benefits of NFT boosters and additional investment into the future.
Sure. Let me go look up that slide. 1 second. Pull it up. Mhm. So the basic premise of a booster is to enable people who want faster vesting to make that happen. So each booster costs $150, and it gives you 0.1% acceleration on your vesting for the whole 6 months. So that's you can stack them. And previously there was no sort of a cap on it, but now I'm saying that the maximum number of boosters you can stack is for your vesting to reach 25%.
Do you want me to bring up the slide?
I yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
There
cool.
you go.
Yeah.
And I'm going to remove the comment, and I'll let you.
Yeah, so this is the prior version of it. I just modified it today, but this is the original version of it. And the original version basically had the price and all of that. So this thing is still good. The only change we made today is that the stacking caps out at 25%, maxes out at that. That's it.
Okay. All right. And then next, yes, Nick, please, can we implement a longer vesting period if it means getting closer to bigger bags?
I think so. Yeah, we can do that.
And the next question we have is, will Jason only get 5,000 tokens and have to purchase more?
I have no idea which wallet is Jason's. We have no idea. We only have wallet IDs. So on the top ones, we removed them because we know they're Brian's. But other than that, the smaller ones, I have no way of knowing who it is. So everyone would be equal in that scenario.
All right. Here's another question from Marshall. With the KYC we paid for, does this lock our node to Vulcan? If so, do we get new NFT for the new blockchain? Excellent question. Yeah, that's good information.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we'll very much use that same contract, which is public, by the way. So if you went KYC there, then yeah, that would be good enough. And we might probably in the future do a KYC again, but again, it costs money for that, so it depends on capital availability. But yeah, you definitely get new NFT for the new blockchain. Sorry, I spaced out there for a little bit.
No, I can imagine. I do it all the time, and people are like, "What is Chris doing?" Well, Eric says the backer light node's still at 95% full node and 5% backer. Nick,
No, there is no gas income for the backers anymore. I've added an incentive pool for that.
okay.
100% for full node. Yeah.
This is a question, and I don't know if you could actually talk about this, but at the same time, what do you think we could have for volume daily if everything works out in September?
Yeah. Well, this is why projects are important, right? I'm talking to as many projects as possible, and I feel like we should be able to get to probably 75 to 100K daily. We should be able to do that without issues, which is beyond the target for rebasing. So you should be able to rebase every day for a bit.
Okay, I think that's a good question here. Okay, so, oh, I took that off. Wrong one. Nick, what's going to happen to the multi-sig wallet that Jason and BL are on?
Well, so it's gonna until one person changes their mind, it's basically a stalemate. So no funds can be moved. So um, what happened with the payroll is that Adrian had basically initiated or rather signed that transaction, and then Jason got Brian to be the third, and that's how the last payroll was done. But moving forward, it's going to be basically 2 versus 2, right? So it's not possible to have a transaction move forward until one of them changes their mind. But yeah, we're talking about a little under $1 million basically sitting there until people talk and come up with a resolution.
Okay. All right. I think I have multiple questions here, so that one is good. And then Sean, I think you keep putting your question in there, but I do have it coming up. So, does Nick have the KYC information of the nodes and the main wallet? Any comment about that?
I do not have the relationship with the provider on that, but what I do have is access to the smart contract like everybody else does on who got KYC'd and not, and you can see your NFTs. So I trust the firm that did it, and so I would basically honor that KYC.
All right. Thank you, Nick, for all you're doing for the community. God bless all. I have comments coming in off of here too. The next one, Sean says, Nick, Prado asked about the whitelist to stop rebasing to try to solve the impermanent loss problem in LP pools.
Okay. So we're talking about the pairing. I think that's one solution, but I could tell you that another solution is a wrap token. So we essentially would wrap the token and make it available so that wrap token represents a certain number of rebasing tokens. But yeah, I understand now where that idea. So I knew there was something behind it. I just couldn't grasp what it is. But yeah, let's see. We would have to solve it only for the liquidity pool. So we would have to somehow know the address of the pool in advance. So that would prevent any future pools from being created because we wouldn't know the address of those in advance. So any pairing involving the rebasing token, if we were to use this approach, we would need to put that whitelisting in the protocol. So it's not like a smart contract where you can have an admin and can add things, etc. So that would be the problem with this approach, but I got to think about it some more.
So evidently they're saying that Brian posted in the Discord that he's going to have an AMA tomorrow with the V files. The truth is out there. So he's 100% back, and Caitlin, Nacho, and Elliot will be joining him on this live stage in the Vulcan blockchain Discord. So if you're still in the Vulcan Discord, expose the truth. Yeah. So they'll be having that. So that'll be, if you're in Vulcan Discord, then go check that out. And let me get to the next question. What happens with the multi sigs is holding Damien, Adrian, Nick? Okay, I think you just talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see. I am running low on questions. A lot of comments. Bugs Life says, "I have a question. Is the blockchain will be launched on September 1st, or is it in phases? If so, then when will the day chain will be in market for trade?"
Yeah. In the roadmap, we kind of projected it to be about 30 to 45 days, within a 30 to 45 days window after. The key thing here is when will liquidity be available, right? So that's when really the date is. And that's why it's not an absolute date, it's a relative date. We have to figure out when we can get the liquidity in.
Crypto Viking Warrior says, "Are we not better using funds to create a new token, which has inbuilt tokenomics to accumulate funds to build a meaningful blockchain? That way we completely sever ties with Vulcan."
That's what we're doing.
So, all right. I don't see a whole lot more questions. I know I've missed a bunch of them, but I've been trying to keep up. And here's one here. So, and I think there's another one up there. Nick, but you announced the backers will get 5% gas fees.
Yeah, and then subsequent to that, met with the full node team, and they were basically vehemently opposed to that. So I had to take both sides into consideration, and the availability of a new incentive pool for the backers addresses their need to get some income. But the gas was going to be insignificant amount anyway. So we are splitting hairs there when you talk about 5%, etc. But essentially, the full nodes were vehemently opposed to it.
Here we go. So if Jason and BL agree to release a percentage or whatever, do you think that Adrian and Damien would agree and transfer those funds to the new project?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know in what scenario they would consider that releasing those funds or whatever. But yeah, I'm open to conversation about that. And I think Adrian and Damien would make any rational decision to support our project moving forward.
Yeah, now I think I'm caught up with different ones. So if you have a question that was up above, I'm just re-enter it, because I'm not going to be able to go up there. I know it's an inconvenience. I'm sorry, but I think I've caught up to all the different messages everywhere. Nick, I thank you for your professionalism and want to say that as a full node holder, that I am here to offer my knowledge and assist if needed. Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And I will tell you, Nick, that this person, I know this person. They are very knowledgeable, and if you guys, if you want to help, meet you guys up so that you can DM or whatever, and you can get to know him, let me know. Both of you guys, I have a lot of faith in what he says. AA says, Nick, when will you fly to Dubai to get the business incorporated? P.S. I couldn't sleep last night through stress, but now I feel better. Thank you, Nick, for looking after the community.
Thank you. Yeah, I got to deal with things in the order of priority, and right now I just need to get past this and get to a point where things are resolved and we can make forward progress. So I would say within the next 30 to 45 days, I would be doing that. So are in completely.
I think it is. I think that means light note.
Oh, light notes. Basically, the thing is, we already discussed that there was no software involved. The question was there an incentive involved? And there is now an incentive pool. So you are in terms of incentives. Yeah.
I missed a comment from a different place, but I cannot find it. So let's see. Why not a multi-chain protocol instead of a blockchain? Cheaper. More eyes.
I don't know if I understand that question very well. Why not a multi-chain protocol instead of a blockchain? So you're talking about something that would run on different chains as a smart contract. I think maybe.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by it, but I don't want to discount what they're saying.
Yeah.
Maybe May, if you could clear it up a little bit, I'll
Yes.
definitely look for it and blink. Yeah, yes. May said yes.
Hmm. So instead of yeah, but one of the things is the creator equation that we are working on. There isn't a solution for that, and so we are building that solution. So if you were to just look at creating a multi-chain protocol, we need to be clear on what problem we are solving there, and how we would go about solving that and be more competitive than anyone else. And that's unclear to me, and that's why I'm not discounting the idea. I just need to know more.
Yeah. So I'm going to interrupt this real quick because this is exactly. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I'm going to say this is exactly the horse crap that I was talking about. And Nick, I apologize for the language. So yeah, Brian Legend is back. He's back to save the day from unrealized demise. Whatever. I'm not even going to read it, but there you go. That's there you go. So he's back, and I'm not going to say I told you so, but in a lot of the conversations I had personally with a lot of people, I told you so. And
I love the word atrocity. I don't even know
yeah.
what I would have done to create
Hey,
that.
that's fine, man. You know what? And this helps you more. This is helping you more than anything else because you have literally the biggest scammer that I've ever come across. Not liking you and what you're doing, and it just adds more validity to what's going on. But just be everybody that's involved with them. Everything. Just be safe. Just be safe if you stay in that community and you participate there. Uh, Please tell the community, tell Nick that the community is behind him as he looks deflated on the live. We are all with you, Nick, 110%.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I look deflated. I've just not had no sleep. I've been working on models and all of this kind of stuff. And also, you have to understand, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about my family. I don't know what these people will do, and I've never been in a situation
Mm-hmm.
where I put my family at risk for anything I've done. And honestly, I just work hard, do things, and here are people just coming at me with baseless things. I worry about my family.
Well, the bottom line is, I think everybody needs to understand that no matter how much I may disagree with Brian and how any of these people, you can have a word conversation to get through it, and if you don't want to have that conversation and that, then just walk away from it. If you don't want to have that conversation and get to the issue that you might have with someone, just walk away. There's no need for any kind of retaliation or anything like that. Good luck to everybody that's a part of that. And you know, I'm going in a totally different direction, and I'm gonna listen to people that are intelligent about Nick's plan, and I'll be moving forward this way. But I will not have anything to do with that over there, and I am done. I'm done over there. So, Sky asks if Adrian and Damien are going to resign from Vulcan to be a part of the new blockchain.
They're already they are part of this, and the only vestige there is that they are the only people holding back those funds in the multi-sig from going away right now, because otherwise they would be gone. But there are 2 votes out of 4, so I do not have access to the multi-sig wallet.
Yeah. So, new web video says do you have access to the multi-sig wallet? And I would assume that he's. I mean, he may not have been caught up, but you do not have access to the multi-sig wallet that that Jason and Brian and them have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he was just catching up and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and then I think that missed one. Oh, I missed this one. Well, I mean, it's not very flattering, but I guess we're all here. With all due respect, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm hardly ever wrong when it comes to scammers. I'll just throw this out there. Nick knew everything. He's a scammer. Jason's a scammer. Prado scammer. BL. So, okay. Well, I mean, some parts I disagree with, some parts I agree with, and I'm glad that you got the opportunity to speak it. Um, Hayes says, I would start with everyone on a longer vesting schedule. Then, with payment method, you could pay your way out of the longer investing schedule.
Yeah, Ted, that was one of the suggestions we got.
And legendary, how about sending multi-sig funds half to Nick and half to the thieves? That way we get something at least.
It's a reasonable proposal. I don't know if anyone will go for it, but yeah.
So Dave Fi says they're timing out people in Vulcan that post the link to Nick's new Discord. So you're going to have to just invite people and spread the link around so people see it.
Yeah, I mean, I've already started off saying, hey guys, if you haven't followed me on Twitter, you can go to my Twitter. It's at Fowler. I have the link on my Twitter. It's literally the last thing I posted. I mean, that's the only way we're going to be able to spread the word is we have to go through alternate social medias. So, my Twitter has it. I'll probably find a way to post it on Twitter, YouTube. And yeah, that's the only way we're going to be able to do it, guys, just through word of mouth.
Yeah. Dave, I see your comment, and calling me old man is not going to get you any faster on the screen, buddy. Okay. Marshall says, in your current plan for the backers, are they made with plus some overtime? I asked for the backers. Are
Yeah,
they
so there's a
made
new
while?
incentive pool for them.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's what he means.
Well, okay. Let's see. Chris, tell Nick, thank you. Thanks for looking after the community. We'll follow you everywhere. Anti-BS putting the Discord name, and you have some mods in there too, right? I saw.
Yeah, a few people requested to help. So until like right now, I just basically thought, okay, well, it can be a free for all, but then
Right.
people,
Well, I mean, Elemental new name is Elemental. I find him to be. I don't agree with him all the time, but I find him to be very fair.
Yeah.
And that is, I have a lot of respect for him, Master Baron, and Major A's hole. I think okay, whatevs. he's I think he's a great guy and everything like that. A lot of those people. So I saw some of the mods and I thought they're great. And obviously Greek is the man. So he's a legend. Yeah, so it looks pretty good. I do know that people had issues with verifying getting into there last night.
yeah, I
But
believe that's been fixed. If not, it is in the process of being fixed, but I'm pretty sure it was addressed.
yeah, someone reached out to me and I tried to see if I could help or whatever. And then I reached out to Legendary Bastard and I went to bed after that. So I don't know what happened. So, so the next question is, sorry if it has been asked, but has Nick's company received 2.4 million from the project thus far?
No, so there's two different entities here, one for the blockchain and then one for developer engagement. And I think that's approximately the correct amount there. Yes.
Let's see. Okay. post the above on Vulcan tweets. Get it out there for those that can't or are unaware of it. Yes. Nick, please say that BL and Jason is not part of this new project moving forward with conviction. Every time the question is being asked, you answer as if you're whispering.
I am not whispering here. BL and Jason, I'm not anywhere close to, in any form, shape, part of this project. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
The slide I posted there, that's basically said, Jason, if he wants his token allocation, have a conversation with me.
So, I mean, Nick, would we be okay as to kind of start thinking about this as like, so the nodes. So, like with Daniel Prado's project, he's got nodes, and um, these nodes would be the product that the project that we're going to do now is separate. This is separate. This is going to be
completely separate.
Completely separate.
Yeah.
But the nodes and the part like with Daniel's project, those nodes that we're talking about and everything can be used the way he's wanting to use it. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's just all it is at this point is an NFT, right? Mm-hmm. So that NFT doesn't even exist on any protocol other than, I think, Binance right now. So you just refer to that and say, okay, you're a valid node on here. So yeah, we would. The goal is to essentially move the entire ecosystem on here and provide a way forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're talking basically we're to the point now where, if people want to participate in this plan and they communicate back and forth and they come to, understandings with you and everything like that, they want to move forward. We're just moving forward, and all the information, whatever BL does and everything, that's just on him and everything. So These node holders, I know that the node holders out there have been worried about a lot of stuff. People have sacrificed and everything. You're trying to take everybody's position into consideration, and we're going to move this way. And eventually it'll be more like, we don't even care what they're talking about, whatever. And questions like this are the questions about how much money for the development and everything like that. Any kind of questions you'll be open to talk about, but you'll be moving forward with this community. What your plan will be moving forward in this direction away from what they're doing.
That's correct.
All right. Yes, I'm back, everyone. Yes, I have returned to save you all from. Oh, this is you saying what? Yeah. I don't even want to talk about that, but you are great. That was the yes.
I do want to address one thing. Like, we most of us have jobs and we get paid a salary. The employer doesn't care what we do with our salary because we produce work product and they get that work product, right? And so I don't see the point there, really. It makes no sense to me, but that's me.
Yeah.
I will do that. I will post it there. I want to change that one slide and post it as sort of options, the sacrifice conversion. I want to post it as options there. Option 1, option 2, option 3, and then so I'll just amend that and post it right after this stream.
Yeah. I don't know what this the Y channel, what you're even posting. I mean, as it is right now, I'm going off what Nick's talking about here, and we can, and what he's been paid and everything like that. We can talk about all that kind of stuff. They can bring it up, but you're not going to tell me anymore. You're not going to tell me anymore that, maybe I might have some type of revelation or something like that. But what Nick's plan and what he wants to go forward. Okay. If Brian has anything to do with anything in that Discord communication or anything like that, I'm not listening to any of it. I'm not going to listen to anything that Brian has to do. I mean, the way that he has treated members in this community, the way that he's done this whole Yomp thing, the way that just look at Daniel Prado, just so recently. I mean, he paid money to have to get his tweets, get a bunch of views on his tweets to trash Daniel's product or his project, and it's like, what kind of person? I don't want to be dealing with people like that ever. And you know what? Whoever joins him on that, good. I'm glad. Put out all the information. If I have a question or it comes back to me, I'm going to go ask Nick, and Nick can clarify, and I'm just going to move forward. So it can be eye-opening. I think my eyes were open yesterday, and I'm sad that I keep getting I keep getting lost there. So Nick, Light Nodes will have 2 incentive pools.
Yeah, the general one and the specific one. Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Same product protocol available on different blockchains.
Yeah, so that would imply a smart contract, and we wouldn't be able to add value for the creators very easily there.
Yeah. Just to be sure, 2 weeks after launch in September, we will have 2 centralized exchange agreements, 2 centralized exchanges ready with 2 pairs on each.
Yeah, so part of what we have to do now is, like, we're talking about a new deal, right? A new protocol, etc. We have to go revisit with the centralized exchanges and make sure that we can move forward. And ultimately, those centralized exchanges, it all depends on liquidity. So we have to meet our liquidity goals. If we're able to do that, we can move as rapidly as possible. But that's the goal: is we want to have 2 centralized exchanges. But without liquidity, that's the big if. Yeah.
Yep, you're right, buddy. And you are the legend. Nobody else should have that name but you. Sea Dogs, I've been in business for over 40 years. I appreciate seeing everyone who is someone who is business savvy. And yes, Sea Dogs, yeah, I've that's why I have a kinship with a lot of things that Nick says, because I feel the same way. Thanks, Nick, for your business knowledge you have, unlike who used to be in charge with the other Discord. Yes. So essentially, you could have assets in original blockchain if it launches and Nick's new blockchain. Well, I would
Yeah.
imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Get it all going. Uh, while all we all called it, his ego and narcissism is next level. The man is brutally shameless. A couple other comments. NR, a serial scammer, is here to save us from a legitimate businessman with morals and integrity. This is laughable. Um, yeah, and then Darwin says, "Walk away, Nick." But I think that's the whole point. Nick is saying that he's not walking away. He feels a kinship with the community, and
Yeah, I think he's telling me to be safe and walk away, kind of.
yeah. But I think everybody knows that we want everybody to be safe. Difference of opinions, that's totally different, but we want everybody to be safe. Told you that last week. This is exactly what they were planning, and here we are. Distance yourself from all of them. Get your friends out of that Vulcan Discord before they fall for another sealer scam. Nick, keep yourself healthy and well. We need you.
Thank you.
Nick and Chris, please open new Discord. Well, I thought Nick's already created Discord, right?
Yeah.
I mean, oh, okay. So I'm not sure that Cry Me a River, Nick, you scammer. Okay. Well, I mean, I kind of hard I don't understand that. And maybe you guys can correct me, and I am open to have that conversation. Nick is has no obligation. Let me see if I can see it. There was a comment that I saw on the live that says that Nick is going to try to honor what was sacrificed in Vol because he feels an obligation to create this. I don't understand how that is being a scammer when he's given us an opportunity and a way to move forward. But I'll give you guys the opportunity to explain to me why I might think I'm wrong. But calling Nick a scammer, I don't see how that is. But your family, God is with you. The scammers better watch their own. Well, we don't want that. Darwin the Turtle says, Nick, we may disagree, but just walk away, brother. You're only pushing this farther by staying. Brian is a vindictive person. Don't do it, Nick. Sonny Tees, I'm going to start praying for you and your family daily, Nick. Really, I have faith. Everyone is going to be okay, and you and your family will be safe. And then I think I got an Air said to me, same way, Chris, but I'm not sure if did I miss something that you said, or is that from a conversation before? Nick, we're behind you. Please do not abandon us. That's all I ask. God knows our hearts, and that's all that matters. We believe in your vision, so don't let them derail your plans. Um, and then we have a question from Anti BS. Is the plan to withhold Jason Bick's allocations in order to come to an agreement over the multi sig funds? Will it, uh, with it being a stalemate at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, as I've said repeatedly, I want to have a conversation, a respectful conversation, and I want to make sure, to address concerns, etc. I mean, I've been through a lot these past 2 3 weeks now, but people are saying false things, and I want the opportunity to talk to them and fix and correct, the understanding, like the whole narrative I talked about today. It's important to understand what was agreed upon and what was built.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dave, appreciate the comment. Talking to me about being an old man. I don't like the profanity. NR says, can Nick speak on how much he knew of all the shenanigans? To me, he was just hired help and not part of the scam.
Yeah, I mean, basically, my deal was as a contractor. I gave a proposal. When we hit a milestone, I gave an invoice. I got paid for that. That's it. That's it. I'm paid to create technology. I've created that technology, been hitting the milestones. And then when um, Brian resigned as CEO and left, essentially both Jason and Adrian came to me and we talked about it, and they're like, well, we need someone to lead. And I stepped up. And it took a fair bit of convincing because I really didn't know what sort of the splash radius was on this, and I was a little wary about it, but I did the work. I talked to people and I came up with a strategic plan, and I presented it. And then the thing is, uh, in a lot of sense, until even today, with that plan, even with the vote, I was a leader, more without the power of the purse string. And as without the power of the purse strings, you can do things, but you cannot have full control, right? Uh, yeah. So basically, the uh, my knowledge is to the extent that I presented what we were doing. I gave ideas, etc. But it was all purely the technology aspect of it. And we have a running protocol, guys. We have a running blockchain as envisioned with the rebasing and all of that. There's a few details to figure out, which is why I was so confident that we can go to mainnet very quickly. And I still am very confident about that, even with the change in the rebasing algorithm. We can do it. So I see a question there about did I leave the Vulkan Discord? So Chris, as you were talking about the fact that you left, I did the same thing. I just right-clicked and said leave server because it doesn't help me to sit there and read people abusing me. So, yep.
Chris, you're muted.
Fowler's been so quiet that I was like, how did that comment come up with just Nick and I? And then I was like, oh, Fowler's there. He's quiet. So, yeah. So you left the Discord and everything like that. I mean, it's separation, man. That's just we're going a different route.
I don't see any point to just being in a place whose sole purpose right now is to call me all kinds of names or whatever, and so yeah.
Yeah, and I can completely understand that. I mean, I'm happy with a lot of the projects out there, like we talked earlier about Daniel's project and stuff like that, and then Property Flex, and even some of the things that Fowler's working on, Gods and Gaming. there's so many different projects that are intertwined, and these nodes were, a part of those types of things. And
Yeah.
this is, to me, it's like, I thought the whole thing was that we were voting for you and you were going to be on the SIG and we were done with this. Now we're redoing it all. And, and if you can, you just keep them out of it, then that's fine. I'll be focusing on this, and whatever they say will fall on deaf ears, because if I think in this community, if this community that we're building, what you're wanting to move forward, if we have a question, I'm pretty sure that we can be like, well, I'll ask Nick personally myself, and I think you'll engage with them and everything like that. And as long as they're respectful and everything, which,
Yeah.
that's what I think, that's the issue that we've had with all these communities. Everybody wanted to be respected when they're being asked questions or when they're asking questions, and they've been disrespected while they're doing that. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, what did I leave off with? Oh, okay. So Hendrix says, I hope you're doing good, Hendrix. I hope everything's good. Send half to Nick first, and after Adrian, leave the funds frozen without signing. Let's all just, yeah. So, how much money do you need to complete the blockchain?
So it's 300K,
300K,
the working capital, that and do the marketing.
and do the marketing.
Yeah.
Will Plan B's and BL's nodes be excluded in the new blockchain? I certainly hope they are excluded.
Yeah.
Let's see now. I think I starred a few of them. Fowler, did you see any of them that were there? I know people are saying some things. Will your plan have any security implications?
The security implications are that we are going through a phased rollout of mainnet, and if you find any issues along the way, along with the audit, then we have to fix them. So the main security implication is the changes we have made are not in any of the important parts of the blockchain, where like modifying state or something like that, or modifying the consensus mechanism. So I think the risk is low, but there's always a risk, and so we want to make sure that we pay attention to anything that comes up as we test it.
Tina, I saw that you put a comment in there and said, "I'm so confused. Do you have a question or anything we can help or anything?" I don't see anything from you. So let me jump back up to one that I starred. So I guess this is a comment. Is this what came up? I did bring this up. And Nick owns the work that was done on the blockchain and the DEX. As far as I know, Nick never gave blockchain or the DEX to the scammers. And that's Seed Rodriguez. How and when can we buy the super booster?
Tomorrow.
So we can get this new blockchain going. Will there be a new website?
Yes. Yeah. So I'll have that up. We'll work on it today and get it up as quickly as possible tomorrow.
Okay. And the next one is, Nick, will you be refiltering the Genesis data to exclude Brian's wallets?
Yeah. We already removed a bunch, and we'll go and check again for more.
Hendrix also has, so if Brian wants to continue with his Vol blockchain, he would have to hire new devs to start from zero and pay them because Nick's the one with all the coding and stuff, correct?
Yeah, so that's a bit of a tricky issue, because as a contractor, I was paid to do some work, and that work, there is some outstanding funds. If they pay them, then I'll turn it over to them. But it's in the shape that they wanted it, with all the fire pit and all of that kind of stuff. So if they want to change it, then they have to change it.
There you go. Nick, what are the next steps to follow immediately?
Join our Discord, and be on the lookout for an announcement tomorrow about the super boosters being available. If we can get the capital requirements in that we need, we can keep our schedule, and we can build this thing and launch it as quickly as possible. So yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, so here's the next one. Thank you, Nick, for stepping up to the plate and for all of the hard work and the great community. May God bless you and your family. And Nameless J says, going to the data Jason and Bixbyte handed over to the team isn't trustworthy. Saeed was in the chat last night. He's a major investor. I hope he's seeing this. Last night there was little hope. Today there is much hope. All right. Yeah, Saeed will, and I think that Daniel is pretty friendly with Saeed. So hopefully Daniel's still watching, or he has watched and he's had that conversation with him. Truly appreciate your integrity. Thanks for caring about the community. Nick, give them half of the code and 80% of the multi-sig. Yeah, whatever that ends up being.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing that one up. Yeah, I got to read some of these. Okay, so Brian just said that Nick left the Vulcan Discord and was not banned. Can Nick confirm this? Yes, Nick said that he left on his own. Let's see. So the team agreed to an amount of payment and now are trying to vilify Nick, saying he was paid and never delivered. This sounds like an incompetent team, not a Nick issue. Plan B and Jason or Plan B and Brian are a joke. So, Nick,
I mean, that's the thing that I don't know how to communicate is, as a business person, I negotiated a contract. I didn't strong arm anyone. I negotiated a contract for a fee. And, like people pay whatever they value something at, right? It's not about hourly labor or something like that. We are not in that kind of discussion. So it's about value. And so what's really important that people need to be aware of is the value was not just about the code. The value was they wanted my reputation.
Oh, I guess there's some issues going on in there. ANA's asking, what is your map doing in the Vulcan Discord? Daniel, this is your business partner. Well, I mean, I'm sure they'll be able to talk that issue. And I completely missed that comment. I thought I started, but I guess not. That might have been his. But ANA has that question. Okay. Is the sale of the super booster protected, meaning we get a refund if we don't secure enough funding?
Yeah, I think I can do that. Where 300K is the minimum, and we can basically say that that's required to move forward. Otherwise, funds are refunded. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. 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 I got like the same message repeatedly. So, okay. All right. I don't see a whole lot more messages. I know that people have them. I probably missed them. We've been going for over 2 hours. Nick, I don't know if you have anything that you want to talk about or that you want to bring up that we haven't talked about already.
All I can say is that I'm pretty transparent, pretty clear. I've presented all the facts as they are, and I want to emphasize this, I remain open to conversations. I remain open to resolution, etc. I am not hostile about anything. All I want to do is make sure that we can peacefully resolve and move forward, right? And right now, I'm in a situation where I have to finish building the blockchain, and we wouldn't have this whole spat erupt if it hadn't been simply Jason putting his foot down that no, I'm not going to pay any more for it. But he comes from a position of not understanding what value has already been created because he doesn't understand the technology. And unfortunately, he has advisors that also don't understand the technology part of it. So that puts us in a bad situation. So here I am now with a plan to move forward and to give everyone who has invested funds over there in Vulcan the ability to get a new lease, if you will, on their tokens and just move forward with a new vision. We do have capital requirements to address that are not trivial, but I believe with a clear vision and with a good community backing, we can get there.
Yeah. Just more comments. Someone was asking about the white paper. Okay, here. How much is the super booster? Is there a white paper to read somewhere? Is that something that's going to be in the new Discord that you're with, like what you had talked about?
Yeah, well, we'll stand up a website with information on
Okay.
it, and we'll try and get that up as quickly as possible. I'm trying to do it tomorrow. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no white paper though. It'll be right on the site, the information. So it's pretty
Okay.
simple. Yeah.
All right, that's good. But I think a key thing that you have to understand, Nick, is that there's more that to the story we got to research. But I think a lot of us already knew that this was going to happen. So the remaining funds being held by you was a way for Brian to come back in and save the day. I mean, I've said it. Multiple people have said it. Dave Five said it, and different scores and stuff like that. So it seems like out of like this whole stuff comes out of nowhere. Okay, you agree to everything, but then you're going to hold this payment and all that. So we'll just let their motivations be what they are and everything. And like I said, we're going to end this here. And I hope that everybody has a good day. If you have any questions, remember the Discord, the new Discord that Nick has, new name. And I will drop the link in there now to see if you need to see it. And then now is the time to ask your questions and get clarifications on as much as you possibly can, because of going forward. We want to make sure that you've been heard. So I don't have anything else. Fowler, you got anything?
Oh no, it was great having Nick here, man, to really, go through this. I mean, you guys, everybody needs to really just take this all in, watch this again if you have to. But you can truly see like the difference between one side's doing something and the other side's not doing anything. And they're talking, and just look at the way they talk and what the actions that they're doing. I'm not a good I'm not a good saying person like Kryptonian, but watch what they do, not what they say. That's something like he would say. But I mean, when you look at Nick, man, Nick is professional. You see, when people have some type of concern or question, he has a breakdown. He has everything laid out for you. He doesn't shy away from questions. That's what you look for in a leader. That's who you want to run a blockchain, not people who come and tell you things and run off into the darkness. I mean, come on, it's plain as day. You don't really have to. I shouldn't have to say this, but it's a reality that you might have to say this to some people for them to realize it. But just look at the different presentations from both sides. Okay, we're not even talking about Brian. I'm talking about the people that were left when we were in a situation. And Jason was supposed to be the person that was number 2. He was supposed to do the things right. He didn't have anything to say the first couple of weeks when I was calling for it. He didn't have anything to say almost for a month. Nick was here. Nick came out and put a plan out to go for it, and we voted, and now we're here, right? Because we wanted to move the blockchain forward. People were claiming that they wanted to move the blockchain forward. They didn't do the things that need to be done to move the blockchain forward. And then guess what Nick did? He made another plan, and that's where we are today. So I hope everybody like really absorbed this. And if you haven't absorbed it all, or you just got here, please watch the whole thing, because Nick just went through everything. He's given us a plan that can, it may not be the plan, the grandiose plans you may have, had or you were sold before, but I promise you his vision is sound, and what he's trying to get accomplished, it's sound. It's a market for it. So if your thing is you want this wanting a blockchain, then you need to move forward with Nick. But I'm not going to force anybody to make those type of decisions. The proof is all out there. The video is out there. We've been doing this for months, and come on. I mean, that's where we at right now, guys. So it's time to make decisions. As you can see, the other guys they're doing what they're doing with that Discord. But guess what? We got to plan for it. We're gonna need word of mouth. guys, I put the link in for the Twitter. I have a tweet out there that's got the Discord. Join the Discord, share that tweet so everyone else can know, because there's a lot of people out there that was done wrong by this leadership team, and they walked away from this, and their investment is still kind of tied up in Vulcan. But here's Nick with another plan, and those investors may need to be informed as well. So please, share the information, share the tweets and stuff, so we can get on the path of moving forward.
Thank you, Fowler.
Nick, I know that we've talked about in this, but I missed somebody's question, and I'm gonna have to find it and go through. They're not answering me right now, and I just got that they asked me for the question, and the timing doesn't line up with what I see. But hopefully there'll be other times that we do AMAs. If Nick can be available. A lot of stuff's going to be going on in the future. I'm sure that some people may want some responses from some of the stuff that they do up there. But at the same time, in that Discord, I do want to acknowledge Tartan Madman for you, Nick. That he was defending you and in the Vulcan Discord, and there's a whole statement that nobody's being banned or whatever, but he got a 6-day time or 7-day timeout for defending you. So he kind of wears that with a badge of honor, kind of a little chuckle and stuff like that. But that's I guess that's par for course now. So Nick, do you have anything extra, anything like that you want to talk
very good.
about?
I need to get a chai so I can stay awake.
I understand you. Well, if anything comes up, let me know, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.